Welcome back to this Football Manager 2019 Tips and Tricks series by me, Deload. Okay guys, today, if you've seen the title, it's all about my first click, my first continue on a save. So what I'm going to outline today are some of the key things I do before that first continue. Now, when I was younger and I used to play this game, I just wanted to get to the games and I wanted to make transfers. They were my sort of basics. I was interested in playing with these players that, we idolise and buying them. Well, now as I've learned Football Manager a little bit more, there are some things that I set out that before the first click can take me 1-2 hours easily. So I've loaded a brand new save here today with Newcastle. You'll see they've hired Deload as the manager. There I am. I definitely don't have blonde hair or a blonde beard, but here we go. Right, so I'm going to do this in importance, and at the end of the video, if you want to click to the end of the video, that's fine. There is a list of all the things I do before I make that first continue. Okay, first up is all about tactic. So I like to build a tactic because I want to understand my team. Now, I need to understand my best 3 players. Where am I going to learn that? I'm going to learn about my team in Team Report, but with a team like Newcastle, I'm going to know who the best players are. Because I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go ability. I'm going to see Lascelles is a great player. I'm going to see, we have a great defence here. We've got a good keeper. And I'm going to look down, I'm going to find my best players. And I'm going to build a tactic around these players. Now, top 3 players, top 5 players, I'm going to start thinking about that. But also, what I want to do is understand this team report. This tells you so much about your squad. So much about the things they can and can't do. So, we're going to look at the best players. We're going to start deciding a tactic. Now with Newcastle, I'm not going to get into tactics today, but these are the things that I consider. I want to do a tactic and I want to understand my team report. Why? Because this is going to help me understand my vulnerabilities in this squad. It's going to help me understand the style of football that we can play. Now, if I pick some things from strengths and weaknesses that stand out to me straight away. Now look, Lascelles, like we just saw there, is one of the best of 5 players able to play at centre-back. We have great centre-backs here at Newcastle. That's good to know. So we have solid defence. Defence we can trust. So already I'm thinking, I don't need to buy defenders. We're not going to get a Matt Hummels here anyway, but I don't need to buy defenders. We've got some good goalkeepers. Martin Dubravka is good in goal. And then we've got Mohamed Diame is one of the best in central midfield. So it sounds like our strength is in central midfield. Now let's just quickly go back to our squad and look at our centre midfield. Now what it said there is we had some strength in centre midfield. Diame, Ki Sung-young, Kennedy, who's on loan from Chelsea here, and John Joe Shelby. So we've got some aces in that centre midfield. Some of our best players are in our centre midfield. So that's interesting. That's interesting to know. So what the team report has told us already is we don't have amazing wingers, we don't have amazing strikers. It's told us we've got great centre backs and we've got great centre midfielders. So that's maybe what we want to think about when we're going to develop that tactic. That we want to be strong at the back and we want to move it through the middle. We've got John Joe Shelby in the middle. The guy can ping a shot from a mile away. Now let's take a look over at weaknesses. Lack of quality at depth at left back. Okay, so straight away we know we've got issues at left back. Our club needs a left back. Lack of quality at depth at right back. So you can see the parallels of strength and weaknesses. So we've got good centre backs, but we do not have much depth on that right and left back. Okay, so penalty taking I'm not going to really worry about. Squad isn't the best at tackling. Well, that's a whole squad, so that's not so good. I'm not really interested in that. But there's a ton of things here that are going to tell me about my club. Now, let's look at some of the ones that are really important to me. Now, the things I'm going to be looking at are things like determination. This squad clearly lacks determination. Let's go quickly look at our squad view. As you can see on here, guys, work the space views coming into play. Now, what I want to do is go to the right, and we have determination. Now, anything above like sort of 13 is good to me when it comes to Premier League clubs. Anything below that, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, it's not your main attribute, so that's not great. So if you look here, we don't have a determined squad. Okay, so what do we need? We're going to need some determination brought into this club. already I'm starting to understand my club. Now I write this down. I have a little notepad next to me when I'm doing this, because all these screens are going to make it hard for me to just process that information. I'm just going to write key notes. So far what we've learned is good centre backs, good centre midfielders. We need some depth at left and right back, and we have a really, inconsistently determined squad. And determination is going to get you through the league. Let's have a little look at some of the other things. See if teamwork pops up on here. Natural fitness. We lack natural fitness. So we're going to play gegenpress. So we might really like Jurgen Klopp's style of gegenpress. But we probably shouldn't do it because we have no natural fitness. These are the things that you want to understand before building a tactic. So the first thing I do is understand my squad so I can build my tactic. Okay. Building the tactic, I'm not going to do that today, as I said. I'm going to just talk about that first continue. That's going to take me some time to understand that team report and build a tactic. Okay, so once you've done that and you feel like you have this team, you've already analysed your weaknesses through your team report, you may want to start thinking about transfer windows. But that's still not what I do next. First off's team, then it's team report and tactics. Then I move down to my under 23s and under 18s. Now I want to know where my budding young stars are coming from, because this lack of depth that we have in our first team might be able to be covered by our under 23s or even under 18s. So let's have a little look at ultimate squad view. No, bad view. Let's have a little look at team profile view, and let's scroll back over and look at potential. Let's have a little look. So the things it talked about was left back and right back. Now we have this guy whose potential is fairly low. So yeah, we don't have any depth in our youth squad to fill that hole. But this is where I'm going to look first. I'm going to look at my youth of my club. As you can see here, we've got some pretty great players. We've got Freddie Woodman there, who looks like a superstar goalkeeper. We've got Yannick Toure at striker, who's a hot prospect, who looks like he could be great. Some stats there that I would be missing for me, but still, this is where I look next. Then I looked at under 18s. Let's look at our potential. Look, we've got a winger here. Can he be retrained into a wing back? Do we need to do that? Probably not. The guy doesn't look like he's able to train in that position at this stage. But that's the next stage. So team report and tactics, build a squad, understand where your weaknesses are in a building block, move down to the under 23s, move down to the under 18s, and see if there's anyone there who can fill that void. That's going to be what I do next. What I'm also going to do is just simply look at the players who aren't going to cut it. So who don't we need? Let's look at potential. Flip it up on its head. We've got these players here. We've got Ellis Sorensen. So his potential is 2 stars. It's not good enough for a club like Newcastle. Do I want to develop him? Do I want to spend the time developing him and the money? Or do I want to cash in to worth 40k? Maybe I sell him on. So some of these players, I'm already going to be thinking to myself, this is a big under 23s team. I mean, that's bigger than most clubs' first teams. And we have a lot of youth potential that's just not going to make it at Newcastle. So you could look to offload these for some more money. Similarly with your squad, you can do the same thing. You can flip that potential, look at somebody like Jack Colback, who's out on loan anyway, and you might want to get rid of him. Now I'm starting to cut. I know where I'm missing, and I'm also thinking about bringing some money in and who I'm going to cut the team. I haven't started thinking about all these world-class players that are already in the team about who I'm going to cut yet. Okay, guys. Next up, I'm going to evaluate the staff. Let's have a little look at the staff at Newcastle. So, as you can see here, we have average in the English Premier League is this little dash here, which is fine. That keeps popping up for some reason. And we also have the best line at the top there. So that golden line is the best in the Premier League. And then the dashed line is the average. And the green line is where we are. So I'm going to look at my staff. And the first things that highlight to me is I've got a huge hole in my recruitment team. And as you can see, pretty much the worst recruitment team in the Premier League. So what am I going to write on my pad? I'm going to write down that I need some staff. I need some recruitment team into this club. Now we need a chief data analyst. We need, possibly for me, I like a director of football to handle some of the tasks, not all of the tasks, but some of the tasks. I'm going to look at the coaching, and I'm going to look at these. I'm going to see if there's anybody I can replace. All these guys are up for mutual termination. big club like Newcastle, you can get rid of these guys. They're worth 100k, 50k, 80k. Get them out the door and get someone good in. This is the time to disrupt the back room if you're starting a brand new save. If you're midway through a season, don't disrupt too much of that coaching team too fast. But do start thinking about bringing one or two of your own staff in there. Similarly with the medical team, let's get that to the best position we can have it in. If you've got filled gaps here, get them filled. Get them absolutely filled. Now, that's your first team staff. We don't just care about our first team staff. We want to understand who's training these guys because they might fill that void, as we talked before. So I flick over to the board. Find it easier to look down this view here, staff. So as you can see, this is what the club advises, and this is what you have. Now, often I'll roll down here and I'll see under 23 sports scientist missing. Now, it's really easy when you start a new save to think about all the things your first team need because that's where your bread and butter is. But if you haven't got that crop coming through, you're going to miss the homegrown players. You're going to miss your talent. So you need to be focusing on this staff team here. When I say evaluate staff, I mean right across this club. If you're going to be, an Alex Ferguson style manager and really manage the club, you need to get all this going. If you're here on a journeyman save and you're here for 6 months to a year, maybe you don't need to do any of this stuff and you just need to boost the morale and get them through the season. But I can see that there's chief data analyst is missing, which is what we talked about before. We're allowed 5 under 18s coaching staff, and we've got 3. So let's get that bolstered up. Let's get these guys reaching their potential. We've got some kids in here, Madja, who might be able to become somebody for our club. Perfect morale as well right now, which is great. Okay, so I'm not going to keep repeating all the things we've gone through because you're listening. Everything's going to pop up at the end. Okay, staff search, staff responsibilities. So now I'm going to move over to staff. I'm going to look at the responsibilities, and this is where you choose what you do and don't want to do. Personally, I don't manage friendly matches, so I'm going to nick that over to the assistant manager. Go for it, Mikhail and Tia. You're going to take over that responsibility. I'm going to go down here, and I want to personally, I like to manage a lot of the day-to-day operations of the club. So this is what I want to do next. Okay, this is the next thing. So you've now built a staff. You know who can do what, and if you've got someone great at managing individual training and working with youngsters, stick him in here doing that job. If not, take over it till you find that guy, because now you've evaluated the staff. Still haven't pressed continue at this stage. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do, move over to training. Okay, we'll discard that because we're not going to be saving this. Training's been changed in 2019 Football Manager, and for the better. What a great system it is as well. I've been playing with it a lot. I will do a tips and tricks on training. Nice simple module effect here. As you can see, we've got 3 sessions in a day. We build it up across the intensity. I'm going to go through schedules. I'm going to start building some schedules for pre-season and for later in the season, and I'm going to start tinkering with these. I think this is absolutely amazing and something that I think you all really need to think about. If you don't like it, you don't like training, you've already evaluated your staff. If your assistant manager has it in his capabilities, stick it in with him. I'm going to quickly whip back onto staff. Remember that tactic we built from the team report? Let's just have a little quick look at something you guys might not know. So our assistant manager. Now, if you look, what you want in your team to do these jobs is, if we're going to have a huge youth squad, look at that, working with youngsters, 9. Right, well, he works with the first team, that's okay. Now, you're getting your reports from him about players, and he's man management skills. He also does a lot of tactical decisions, he can offer them up. He can also be a mental advisor. Look at the stats, guys. Look at what they're actually doing for you. Now, this is the thing that really intrigues me. So, we want to play through the middle, as we talked about before, with centre-backs and centre midfielders. Now, if you look at his coaching style, he's a defending coaching style. What if we want to play attacking, expressive football? Then this maybe isn't the guy for us. His preferred formation is 4-4-1-1. He is going to be better at training that formation. So when you're evaluating the staff, think about that tactic and the team report that you built. Think about the type of play you want to do, and bring the staff in that are going to train that into the guys. If you want to play flair, attacking, wing play, smashing that ball down the wing and attacking, look for it. Look for pressing style. If you want to play gegenpress, find coaches that like looking at pressing style teams. That's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so we've evaluated our staff. We've looked at our responsibilities now. We've set up some training, pre-season, and some full match tactics. We've done the tactics. Next up, because we've now understood our building blocks that we need for the club, we've been right through the club and evaluated what we need. I'm going to look at free agents. So we're going to go down to, there's many ways to do this. I'm not going to go through everyone, but if we go to players and player search, transfer off, new search, and go to contract. Contract status, expired or unattached. I think it's unattached, maybe. Okay. And you're going to see, Paul Koscielny sitting there unattached. Dimitar Berbatov, free agent. So we know Dimitar, he's going to have one of the best first touches in the game. He's going to be a spin on a dime. We can pick him up. He's free. Let's get that bid in today. Let's not wait till August, the 1st. Get the bid in now because somebody else will. And think about how much you need him, because if you need him, get it in. You might even be able to pick this guy up for free and sell him. It's not been unknown to make some money that way. But yeah, look at free agents, look at players that are unattached. And personally, I used to when I was younger is set regen dates. I don't do that as much anymore because I don't try and regen hack. I try and find these players just naturally through the game. I've taken a lot of that stuff off me, but that's maybe something you want to do, set some reminder dates through the year. So popping up on the screen now, guys, is all the stuff I talked about there. A little bonus one at the end is if you're a smaller club, set some friendlies, make some money. This is your opportunity to do it. If you look at your schedule, there'll already be some friendlies in there, okay? You might be able to add more. You might be able to set a tournament up at your home ground and make a ton of money. Try and do that today. All of this before the first click. You need to understand all the gaps, understand the staff, and get your bids in today, because you know it. You're not just going to dribble along till August and go, oh, damn, we need that right back. You've already assessed it. Spend the time before the first click, because then after that, you can just go through the motions on just accepting, declining bids. People will come in, the game will take its place from there. But that first click to me is so important. So everything you can see on the screen, guys, is what we've been through today. It's a little list I keep in my book, my Football Manager book, and I hope you've really got some use out of this for anyone who's just going through the stages of Football Manager. If you have, leave a comment, bash me a like, and yeah, we'll see you next time, guys.